just want the one that's been here since the day one. I don't buy the cheap pills, I just get the fun that I got with the one that's been here since the day one. I don't need distractions, I don't need the fun. I just want the one that's been here since the day one. I don't need to play games.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. For those that don't know, my name is Alina Smith. I'm one half of LYRE Music, which is a production team that specializes in pop music and K-pop. We've had cuts with projects like Red Velvet, ITZY, Produce 101. So we really enjoy what we do, and we love to share what we do with people here on YouTube. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit like on this video. Now, today I'm going to be doing a production walkthrough for the song called Day One. It's actually a song on my new EP called 2000's Teen. Yay, shameless self-plug. So this song definitely has an R&B pop vibe to it, but it also has a throwback vibe, specifically like that old Max Martin style production, late 90s, early 2000s, you guys will hear. And I think this song could be a really good kind of example for those of you guys that are looking to combine vintage elements with modern elements on how you can do that. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. All right, so you guys heard a little bit of a preview of what the song sounds like at the beginning of this video. So I want to just go through every section and talk about what I did, why I did it, how I did it. So yeah, let me play you the intro first.
Some might treat their lovers like lies. Smoke.
Okay, yeah, so obviously you can tell the feel of the song is that kind of 2000s like big piano hit, like low piano notes, kind of carrying the majority of the melodic underpinning of the song. I feel like I just sounded really fancy saying that. But basically the reason I did the intro like this, produce it like this, is because I wanted something contrasting, right? And the song also ends with something a little bit washy like this as well. So I wanted to kind of bookend it with something more patty, as opposed to the rest of the song, which is really quite percussive. So we have this pad here. From what I remember, I think this is Exhale. I did print it down because I switched from Ableton 10 to 11 and it started having issues. So I just went ahead, like back when I was producing this months ago. So I basically, printed this down and just kept it as is. It's pretty simple, it's kind of turned down low. It has a little bit of ozone, basically imager, just spreading it a little bit in these upper mids. Well, not really mids, it goes all the way up to 10K. So I'm really just spreading it a little bit here. And then I have this kind of fake mandolin going from Omnisphere. So it's got so much on it. This happens to me a lot. I just grab it because I don't think this sounded like this originally. Like gosh, there's a lot of stuff I tried on here too that's like muted, you can see. But yeah, if you listen to this without anything, it's a straight up mandolin, like very, very different than what it ended up being. I just think I wanted like a muted plug, but I ended up taking that and just making it into that. I probably could have found a sound that was already closer to that, but sometimes you don't know. And I think this mandolin features right here and basically other sections. So I already had the sound pulled up, so I just went ahead and did that. I have gigahertz wow on it to just add a little bit of detuning. I have RC20, adding wobble, adding noise, adding space. There's just their own modular reverb in here. Also added a little bit of Fab Filter Pro MB, just kind of taking care of certain frequencies that were poking out to me weird. It's really nothing like super fancy over here. I also have a couple of sweeps. Day one, day one, day one. Okay, yeah, so I have this stack of these vocals that are just repeating day one, day one, day one. This is in a lot of the choruses. So for those of you that are songwriters, this is really important in pop music. It's just kind of getting the hooks to be front and center and to find as many places to feature it without going overboard. So, me bringing a hook into the intro is like basically that. Yeah, and you can see right here I'm using EQ8 to kind of sweep into it a little bit, starting a little bit duller and then getting brighter before it drops into the verse. You can watch it here. It's really, it doesn't even go all the way. It kind of still stays a little bit muted, which I really like. And it has my favorite Valhalla vintage verb. You guys know I use this like every track like 17,000 times. And I have, oh, interesting, I have this really bright processing on it originally because I have the 1073 from UAD kind of cranked a little bit here. But I think that kind of brightness ends up happening later. Yeah, so a really simple intro, really, and then get into the verse.
Some might treat their lovers like ice. Smoke them up and leave them, changing with the seasons. But you know that shit ain't my style. I just want the OG, it's always been it for me.
Yeah, this is very sparse, you guys. It's a very, very simple way to produce a verse, and I will tell you why I did this. So this is originally how I wrote this idea, is I just had the dunk, tunk, 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 single piano notes and like one snap, and that's all I really had. And I wrote some ideas for the song initially, and then I spent time afterwards developing it. So I wanted to keep the original feel. In fact, I want to actually pull in my very, very first initial, I wouldn't even call it a demo, it's just like a scratch recording of my idea for the song, because I remember I was writing it, I had like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes before I had to go to dinner. So I knew I didn't have a lot of time. So I was like, oh, let me just play around. And I came up with the initial start for the song. So I, hear people talk about like, oh, I have a day job, I don't have a lot of time to make music. I'm like, totally understandable. But I think you can find pockets of time to still create what you want to create. You can find other times later to finish it. You don't have to feel limited just because time is short. Okay, so this is what it sounds like.
If you know the night, we don't talk about it. It ain't like I'm buying it.
So yeah, I didn't have the words. I didn't have the idea. I literally just had this feel, and I was like, ooh, it sounds like late 90s, 2000s. I don't know what it is. I like it, and it's just like, that's what I came up with in like 30 minutes or whatever that I had. And then I developed it. I actually ended up working on it later without this beat, just on guitar, like writing the whole song on guitar, and then I brought it in to Ableton and recorded it and did all the things.
Some treat their lovers like ice, smoke them up and leave them, changing with the seasons.
Yeah, so you could see I just took it and like ended up working on it kind of outside of the computer realm, which I also really recommend for inspiration if you can. Obviously some things you have to have the beat for you to write to, but I really love to write to an instrument because there's something so earthy and inspiring about it. But anyway, so that's kind of like the writing process for the song. But this verse is really simple. It is really just that piano. I wish I didn't print it down so I could show you what this is, but I actually remember. So it's a contact library. Okay, yeah, it's called Sample Modern. It's just their Baby Grand sample. I don't know, it's just very kind of like harsh. It almost doesn't sound real, but I really like that for certain types of records because they make such beautiful VST pianos now that they sound almost like too real. And for something like this, I wanted it to be like rah, 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 like very, very just kind of effect heavy. So that's why I chose this. Also, please ignore all of my library content not found. I have my computer rebuilt with a different hard drive a while ago. Well, like 8 months ago. And I haven't linked my libraries back up. If somebody wants to come over and do that for me, let me know, because I never have the time. So also under these piano hits, I have this 808. It's pretty short. It's Sublab. If you guys watch my channel, you know this is what I use for 808s. I used to use other things, not anymore. I love this so much. I just basically made the release like a little bit shorter on this. 2 seconds. That's actually not that short. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, it is a little bit on the longer side, but the hit itself is short. So we hear those 2 seconds, but it mostly happens after the hit. Interesting choice, Alina. I probably would do it differently now. It's so funny to me. So we have that, and then we just have that clap, which I'm pretty sure is the same one that was in the original like little idea. Yeah, I just ended up adding some verb to it. Oh yeah, I see it's going out to a verb on bus K. Okay, so yeah, it's going out like busing out to a verb. Definitely has a heavy attack, like an emphasized attack. I use this SPL transient designer from UAD, highly recommended. And the sustain is like down. I do this for almost all snares. I kind of don't want them to be that long. I like to add reverb and things on top of like very short, snappy sounds. I think it's probably the style of production that I do, kind of the genre, but I just like really short snares and hi-hats. Like there's a lot of things that I put this on. So yeah, just, you know, a little bit of like EQ, just different processing as I was mixing this. Obviously I did all of that after composition, like when I was mixing. So yeah, and then there's the vocal.
Love is like ice, smoke 'em up and leave 'em, changing with the seasons, but you know that shit ain't my
Yeah, it's definitely been processed quite a bit. You know, I sang this, then of course I melodined all of it, time corrected, pitch corrected. There's actually a video that I did where I'm melodyning the song. I will link it here in the card. I have two versions of it. One is just like kind of me showing a little bit of it, and one is on my Gumroad, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's kind of like a Patreon, except you don't have to subscribe every month, like monthly, to see people's like kind of exclusive content. You just like pay per piece of content. So I have just a few things on there for those of you guys that want to support this channel and support me. Obviously I do this educational kind of stuff for fun and because I really love to share, but you know, it does take a lot of my time that takes away from producing. So if you guys want to support, go get that video. I would really love that, but you don't have to. So yeah, basically melodyne processed, and you know, what do I have on the vocal chain? Honestly, a lot of the same stuff that I usually do. I just kind of brighten at 10K, 8K, you know, do de-essing, just a lot of the kind of usual type of stuff that you do for pop music. And then I do have a lot of hype going on here as well. You know, I'm talking about smoking weed right here.
guys. Smoke 'em up and
Smoke 'em up and leave 'em. That's why I'm coughing. Very unsubtle ad lib, honestly. I create that kind of aged effect with vinyl, isotope vinyl. This is a free plugin. This is an old version. Again, I'm one of those people that like doesn't fix things that go wrong, doesn't update things that go wrong. Maybe I should. Oh, I feel like I haven't used this in so long. I'm really glad I have because I can show this plugin to you guys. It's super sick. So these are virtual mics by Slate Digital. Basically, you can pick out of these classic mics like Sony 800, like U67, I think U47, 49, maybe I'm making that up, but basically they're just these like dupes of all of these microphones. So yeah, basically that kind of emulates the sound. So yeah, it basically adds some roundness to it, a little bit of aging. It's so subtle, but I kind of like playing with that, just adding that on top of it. So yeah, and I have other ones like just little like kind of hypes. I do this a lot on a lot of my songs, and honestly a lot of demos too. Like throw isotope vinyl on a track for ad libs, and it immediately kind of sounds like more done than before. So it's one of my like little tricks.
yeah, you saw me when nobody would, and you love me good through the bed.
Okay, so I see right here I'm bussing out just some more processing just for love me good. I think, let me see.
And you love me.
Oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm going to this Comeback Kid plugin, which is a really dope delay from Baby Audio.
Saw me when nobody would, and you love me good.
Yeah, it's just really one of the, I think it's the first setting, the analog delay. You know, I just set it to be eighth notes straight, not dotted or anything. And then, yeah, you can really kind of like stereoize it. You can play with attack and sustain of the delay. You can add kind of like tape, like a little bit of, I think swirl is like wow, I think.
Saw me when nobody would, and you love me good.
Flashing maybe, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's a really great kind of plugin with a lot of settings. So I just threw it on here, you know, a little bit low in the mix, just so it kind of pops in. Unless you know, like unless you're listening for it, you're probably not gonna notice it. But I like things like that. I like very small moves on small parts. Yeah, I think you guys have probably heard me talk about this before. I know I talked about this in my video about my song Proud, which is like got these parts which are mostly just guitar and vocal. So I talk about these small moves with reverb and delay that are making a big difference, making it sound more done without going overboard.
Saw me when nobody would, and he loved me good through the bad and the ugly. He never got a knock on wood. Tell him, baby, don't worry.
I noticed one thing I didn't go over while I'm here in the return section is I have actually this pretty sick delay on the piano. So this is replica delay, which I use a lot. I love a lot of the presets. I see I've cranked the saturation on this to kind of give, well, first of all, I love just the delay on this piano. I thought that was a cool idea because originally I didn't have anything and it was just dry, which, you know, can be good for certain things, but it made it sound less done in my taste. So I really love that. And yeah, all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of wow right here with gigahertz wow control, spreading just the top end, just that crunch. But yeah, that to me makes a big difference. And I think we're pretty much ready to go to the chorus.
Baby, don't worry. I don't need distractions. I don't need the fun. I just want the one that's been it since the day one. I don't buy the cheap pills. I just get the bun that I got with the one that's been it since the day one. I don't need distractions.
I always love looking at songs that I haven't looked at for like a couple of months. I don't remember anything I did. So I'm like, what? I learned for myself. So this, obviously I have a big 808 here. Yeah, it's still Sublab. Love this preset, 808 NASCAR. Very low drive that I've chosen for this. I just wanted it to be kind of like just a low end, really. I didn't want any crunch. Like, look at what I'm doing with EQ. This is like so unsubtle of me, but I'm just like, just the lows. Thank you. A little bit of voice of God. I just call it Vogue at this point because I'm used to typing Vogue to look for it. But yeah, this just is a great like low end enhancer. What is bass top? I'm so curious. I see it. Okay, I know exactly what I did. So I made this with probably another, I'm sure another instance of Sublab, but I had the drive cranked all the way. Probably it could have been dark drive, could have been grunge, like one of those more saturated presets, and I just took out all of the bottom end and just made this like this very like just a part that's focused on the crunch really. And what I'm doing is I'm spreading it with Super VHS, which is a dope plugin by Baby Audio, and I'm just basically using this magic button to spread it. Look at that. Sick, isn't it? Yeah, it's not quite a doubler. Like, you probably can look up exactly how this processing works, like, but it just, maybe it's cause effect. I'm not super sure exactly what it is, but it is magical. So yeah, that just adds a little bit of like that ass under that. Honestly, I've heard another producer say that like 15 years ago. He was like, yeah, you gotta have the ass. I was like, I'm gonna say that forever, and I have been saying it forever. Just adds that feeling of power really underneath everything. So I have the horns. Should love this part. Wow. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm putting together several samples, which I think is pretty interesting. One of them I might have even played. Don't quote me on that. I know that this one is like a cut sample from like a Splice sample, like a longer. I just took one hit basically. I don't know why it's speaking so hard for me today. I hear my sentences back in my head and I'm like, whoa, not real sentences. So I really love this part too. It's kind of tucked in this mix a little bit because every time I would crank it up, it would kind of overpower the vocals. But I like that it works in tandem with the vocals. Like if you listen to it.
Distractions, I don't need the fun. I just want the one that's been it since the day one. I don't buy the cheap pills.
You know, it's really tucked in, but when I'm going a little bit more legato, I have the staccato part here. When I'm going like a little bit rhythmic on the vocal, it has the kind of long held note. So I don't know, I like it. So, and then I have the piano. It's exactly the same throughout the song. The kicks are doing this. So I use this move a lot. I'll have like a bottomy kick like this, and then I'll have a top, which is just like a kick click, just like the top part. Yeah, you can definitely get a sample that has both like in it, but I actually really like to separate it. Sometimes I'll even like chop up a sample, just take the top, put it on the track, just take the bottom, because it just like, I don't know, makes it easier to control, and that works for me. Really simple snare. I just have this like chink added on every second one. It's like almost sounds like a cash register or something. Yeah, these are cool samples. You know, it's a lot of the times there's no rhyme or reason on how I stack things. It's just to taste. It's like, I like this or I don't like this. Yeah, this one's just more like, I think like a 909 maybe, so, something in that territory. That one is almost like a combination of things. And then the chink, I don't know, just gives a feeling of power, like this particular stack that I really enjoy. Now, this I find pretty interesting. So this part, originally I had it be a bit slower. I didn't have it bend like this. It was more like a straight like mandolin, and I think the rhythm was like like do do da do 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 da da. It was a lot slower, but then I think as I kind of stepped away from the song and came back to finish the production, I realized this sounds like a little too chill. I want it to be more hype, so I added notation, which is a really good kind of just move to make, you know, when in doubt, just add more rhythm. So this was Omnisphere for sure. It's the same as this mandolin, you know, I just bent it quite a bit. I'm pretty sure what I did is in Omnisphere, I think I added glide right here. That's probably most likely what I did. I don't think I hand bent this waveform or anything. So, and I think I've printed this several times because the fact that there's only one thing on it makes me kind of think well, you know, it's neutron. Okay, I take that back. I did make some fun EQ moves. I'm really cranking. Interesting. I'm cranking a lot here, especially in the top end. I don't know why I'm cranking down to 6K. Honestly, probably because one of the hits was standing out there. Let's see. Huh. I couldn't actually tell you. I don't know. And I definitely think I added some saturation to it as well. But maybe even a little bit of bit crushing. I wish I had like the original track with all the processing on it. But I did print it down because, as you can see, this is a big session. And it probably was like kind of being mean to me as far as CPU. So yeah, I did that. So yeah, and then as to percussion, I have these things here. Just like a loop I made a while back. It's got a lot of just different percussive elements in it. You know, I'm kind of having it pan left to right a little bit, spreading kind of the top, EQing the bottom end. It's really, really simple what I'm doing for this percussion. And then the hats. Yeah, I think I literally just used a sample. I didn't play this hi-hat. I just liked kind of how this came in, and I just cut it up a little bit more to my taste. And we've got this here too, just a little bit of like a different sample. I wonder why it looks like it came from the same actually loop. Maybe not. Well, no, it says it's the same thing. I don't actually know why I put this here. Probably different processing. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm really cranking the top end on this. Sometimes I look back at these moves and I'm like, why though? Why? But it is interesting because in the moment it definitely made sense, and it probably does in the context too of what I was doing. And I have another one underneath as well, a little bit more of like a natural organic sounding hat, like it almost sounds like a tambourine to me. So yeah, that's pretty fun.
Since the day one, I don't buy the cheap pills, I just get the bun that I got with the one that's been here since the day one. I don't need distractions.
This is important to know, you know. I kind of like to call it like bar 8 transition. I think basically bar 4, bar 8, just kind of changing something up to be really quite rhythmic. Like, I don't know, if you think about a song, this was really common in like the 2000s. If you think about like Drop It Like It's Hot, right? How it has like toom, 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 right? Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, having something rhythmic that's consistent that happens throughout the song, but only happens on a certain bar that kind of ends a section. So that to me is bar 8 transition. I totally just made that up, by the way. Thought it made me sound smart. But yeah, basically what I'm creating this with here is just chopping everything on these 8 notes, like even this piano. It's a very like deliberate chop. I'm not trying to make it sound natural whatsoever. I wanted to kind of have that moment of like, oh, rhythmic transition, boom, we're back. You know, I'm doing that with a kick. I even have this fill right here. You know, it's very similar kind of rhythm here. Yeah, and then there's even a hat doing that. Interesting.
The day one, I don't need distractions.
yeah, between the kick and the piano and the snare, it creates that kind of thing. You could even go further and just like have all your elements do that. That might have been too much. I might have tried it and been like, eh. So, and then I'll give you guys like a real quick little tour of the vocals too. So the doubles are here.
I don't need the fun.
Just normal doubles, really, just clean. I have the lows. I wonder if I sang them or if they're created. I sang them.
I just want the one that's been here since the day one.
It's so day one. I can't do it. So I remember what I did is I got up at like 7 a.m. and I sang these because my voice always drops significantly in the morning. Like when I wake up, I'm like, hi to my husband because my voice is just so low in the morning. So that's when I can do these like really low parts, which I cannot do later in the day. So that's pretty fun. And then of course I have some BGVs. I think this Ooh Day One was kind of here from the earlier stages of the track. I like it.
Ooh, day one.
It is pretty, if I dare say so myself. I do like that it kind of does this thing where it kind of hangs underneath the lead vocal and then joins it. I do love playing with background vocals like that and not just doing like following the lead or just singing like a plain ooh or ah underneath, but kind of finding creative ways to use it.
One that's been here since the day one. I don't buy the
So yeah, ooh, day one, right? So, and then we have some BGs right here as well. Let's see. Well, actually, no. It's just in here. It's going into the post. But what I do have is this day one, the same thing that was in the intro. Remember I said it's really important to have these hooks.
day one.
So yeah, it's very much the same thing, and it happens actually twice in the chorus. Happens here as well at the end of it.
Day one.
And this is where I fully open this envelope and make it nice and bright and kind of almost crunchy, which I like. So yeah, let me just take a look at these real quick.
I don't need to play games, I already won.
Yeah, so I just have actual stack with the leads that comes in on the second half of the chorus.
And I don't need distractions, I don't need the fun. I just want.
Yeah, so we're just building it, you know. And then we got the post chorus, which actually usually posts get bigger. This one drops down in energy. Yeah, that's just really what I wanted for this particular song. You know, it's definitely you have to kind of, there's no formula, right? You have to kind of listen to your song. You can't be like, every post has to be bigger. Sometimes even a chorus doesn't need to be bigger. Sometimes a drop down chorus is really cool. So yeah, I basically kind of strip it back down right here.
Day one. Yeah, you always been the only one. From day one.
Got a nice big stack on from day one.
From day one.
I love that.
From day one. No, I never wanna.
I think the thing that happens here is we're starting to get like a little bit fancier with our kicks, right? Because in the verse especially, it was like doom, doom. And now we're starting to add things like this. Again, you know, it's that like bar 4, bar 8 magic, just really kind of focusing on those transitions. So, and then I have these 808s here, which is interesting. I've created a specific 808 for the post, which is not as short as the verse, but not as long like this continuous 808 that I had in the chorus. Ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum. Actually, you know what? Thinking about it now, I think it is about as short as the verse, maybe even a little bit shorter than the verse, but the verses don't play through the full progression. They just hit on the one, or at least the first verse, and this one plays through the progression. So I think that's pretty fun. Yeah, and I'm adding some things in here, like I'm adding some haze. You know, different types of haze, just to hype it up.
From day one. No, I'll never.
Adding a big sweep. And drop in the pitch of the never want another one, never want it. I think I sang that an octave above and then dropped it. Yeah, just having a little bit of this kind of different moment, you know. So, and interesting to see what is going on here vocally as well.
Day one. Yeah, you always been the only one. From day one.
Yeah, I'm just adding some doubling specifically just on the post, because I think when I first got it, I was like, it needs something. Oh yeah, I see what I did. See, look, I had the doubles, probably the lows too. Oh yeah, I had doubles and lows and I didn't like it. I wanted the energy to drop down. So I just, but when I took them away, it was like naked. So that's why I added the doubler. I see. It's like retracing my steps. Like, what did I do and why did I do it? But anyway, yeah, that's the post. Let's go to verse 2 now.
Summer said we to be old news, cause we didn't work on paper. I said fuck the haters, cause the day I met him I knew. Felt the chemistry of spirit way beyond the physics.
This is like probably my favorite moment. That did it. It's just a kick. I do remember making this, and I think I literally just used transposition like Ableton built in. Right? Did I? Yeah. I can already see. Yeah, look at that. That's all I did on this gig. Yeah, I just kind of wanted this really interesting, like, small moment, because otherwise it's pretty much the same. It's the same melody too, which is totally fine, but I do write a lot of songs where verse 2 is different than verse 1 melodically, so I just kind of wanted, like, this moment of, like, ooh, something else.
Way beyond the physics. Yeah, you saw me when nobody would.
Yeah, you know, I have this breaking glass here. Is this it? No. Oh, I'm adding guitar too. Wow, I'm like excited to look at this because I totally forgot everything I did, right? Oh yeah, I have this yell, and then I have broken glass. And then on this pre-chorus, a guitar comes in. Interesting. Let's see. Oh, I played this. Okay, I remember. Not even every chord, and pretty muted too. You can see right here. Yeah, because I'm basically going to this guitar in the bridge, so I'm kind of like previewing it here in a really subliminal way.
The physics. Yeah, you saw me when nobody would, and you love me.
It's a string. It's kind of like a Middle Eastern string that I just kind of messed up, you know, added some J37, which is just, again, just like wow, flutter, like aging effects. There's a lot you can do with this type of thing, you know, putting, look, the amounts of just different aging. Oh, look at this. I added some bit crushing to it. I love bit crushing. Verb, spreading. Yeah, you know, just all the usual contenders, really.
In the ugly, he never got a knock on wood. Tell him, baby, don't worry. I don't need distraction.
I had this kind of cut up scratch. Whoa, I love that. Yeah, it's again just little nods to the origin of this music, really, and the era that it was originated in. So yeah, and then we have the chorus and the post again. You know, there's a few things added, I think, vocal layer wise, but most I just want to play you guys this bridge because this bridge matters to me a lot. Originally, I wrote this as a second verse, and when I recorded it first after like writing it on guitar, I realized it feels a little bit out of place in verse 2, so I ended up making it a bridge and just writing the same melody for verse 2.
What you know about a man who worked double time, helped a woman chase a dream, made my dream is a rising, buying medicine when I'm sick, crush my hair when I'm stressed, made me snatch my I got PMS, yeah, baby been the ground that
yeah, so we're just opening the envelope on the guitar. We're doing every hit now, and watch it here. I love how crappy it is. It really is so crappy. It's just such a like distorted kind of like fluttery, just not pristine whatsoever, but it makes it cool, at least to me. And then, you know, the vocal is got a lot of attitude as well, so I think that kind of matches.
My dream is a rising, buying medicine when
I'm just adding some got some ad libs, you know, they're panning. You could see it's not with Pancake, but literally panning here in Ableton. Using spaced out, interesting, both the delay and the verb. This is probably my like other favorite reverb. I love it. It's by Baby Audio. I use it all the time. Love it so much.
When I'm stressed, maybe it's that's why I got feet. Yeah.
And I just got a little bit hype. Going to this bigger section.
Be a mess, yeah, baby, been the ground that I've been building on. I wouldn't be the one.
Broken glass makes an appearance yet again. Oh, and they even have a siren? Really? I do. Oh, vocal siren. I see. That's actually from our Splice pack. I've used this so much. Let me know if you guys have used this sound. This is like one of my like utility ones. Use it a lot.
Ground ground that I've been building on. I wouldn't be the woman.
You know, in the contrast here, it's very, everything, all these moves are pretty simple, but yeah, we're kind of opening with this guitar and then kind of giving the ear a break from this piano, and then we're back to the piano.
I've been building on. I wouldn't be the woman I am without the years we barely made rent. Way you taught me.
You know, just have like a few stabs of like just big background vocals with lots of verb on it.
Patience, love me at my worst, now he gets my best. I don't need distractions, I don't need the fun. I just want the one that's been it since the day one.
Yeah, so I'm adding a lot of kind of ad libs in here. You know, we did go over the first verse production, but first chorus production, but this is pretty much the same. I see I've added the guitars, I've added more of those hey throughout the post. So yeah, it really is just kind of the same as before, but just bigger, which is really pop music in a nutshell. And then I have this really pretty outro, which is something I've done a lot on my music. If you guys heard my song Grown Fucking Woman, that one has like a full-on classical outro with like a piano part that I compose and everything. But this one is a little bit simpler, but it's the same kind of idea. Yeah, I actually forgot that I did all this guitar work. I see I'm opening an envelope here. Yeah, I just wanted something like kind of romantic to end the song, because it is a song about love. It's like the only love song that I have. So, you know, but it's so hard and it's like all like attitude. So it was nice to end it on a romantic note. You know, I got like a nice pretty pad. What is this? Diva, my favorite plugin for synths. I got like a big 808 here. I feel like I played this on something. Oh, this was probably Contact Library. It's not coming to me. I will let you guys know if I remember. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I just played these chords like with tremolo violins or violas. And I've got like a little vinyl crackle here. And then honestly, all that's happened here is just the bridge repeated again with tons of verb. Yeah, I just kind of take down the verb a little bit as it goes. I start like really large amounts of decay and then just kind of whoosh, you know, and that's honestly pretty much the song. All right, guys, and that's pretty much it. That's how I produce this song. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any videos from me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.